Hi guys, so today I want to try to make some magnetic press-ons. Now I'm probably not the first person to do this, but what made me think of it was I saw this clip of Trisha Paytas.
Your fingers or something. Oh, these are press-on, by the way, too. I don't want people coming for me and be like, how can you take care of a baby with those nails? They literally come off.
Real? Jeez.
Yeah, so I have like...
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, so people are always like, how can you take care of a baby with those nails? And I'm like, they come off.
And she pulls her nail off and it's painted underneath. But when she goes to put it back on, it almost looks as if it snaps back in place. I don't know if that's the case. I tried to look and she says that they are press-ons, but doesn't say pressed on with what. I would assume sticky tabs, but just the way it like snapped back on made me think of magnetic press-ons. Just like, you know, like snapping the nail on like that. I thought it was so cool. It might have just been like a camera angle or just the way she did it. But I thought that that would be such a fun idea. Have a basic gel manicure and then, you know, if you want to jazz it up, just like be able to pop on some nails like that. Of course, that's going to require some sort of magnets on your nails and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. Today, I want to try to do a gel manicure with magnets in it and then make some press-ons with some magnets underneath and be able to essentially put them on magnetically. I'm not sure if this will work, but it was just something I had to try. I saw this a while ago and I've been thinking about it since. So this is definitely going to be more of a nail experiment today. So I figured that we would start with the hard part, which I think is going to be putting the magnets on my nails because I want to do it like she had it. I think that is a really good idea where you have something underneath that also looks nice to be able to like switch back and forth and preferably not really be able to see the magnets in there. I am aiming to have it look like just a normal nail. So let's start with the gel manicure. So here's my nails that we're going to be starting with. I know they are a crusty dusty disaster. I've been having a really hard time because my oldest dog recently passed and I ended up ripping my last set of nails off, which is where you can see some like stress bruises type things going on. So let's try to get this cleaned up. We'll start with the cuticles. I recently got this really nice cuticle pusher. Zillabue sent it over last time they sent me some gels and I really like it, but when I looked at the price, it shocked me a little bit because it's quite expensive. It is very solid and very precise, but I probably couldn't recommend it because of the price unless you are really just wanting to invest in one. And I'm gonna clean everything up just a little bit with my e-file. And then I'm just going to shape up my natural nails a little bit because obviously my nails are not in the best condition. I usually keep them round because if I keep them square, the corners usually will crack and, you know, turn round. So I just keep them round. Let's get the dust off. All right, that's quite a bit better. I have not yet wiped with alcohol, so let's do that and clean up the rest of the dust. Let's use one of these. I love these. So this is going to need to be a builder gel manicure because we need to have a magnet on our nail. And whether hers were actually magnetic or not, I liked that they looked like a regular manicure without the press-ons. So to me, I think that the magnet should be covered. I think it'll still work just fine with just like a thin layer of color gel over it, but it does mean that this is the first step. These are, I think, pretty strong magnets. I already had these, otherwise I probably would have gotten something a little bit thinner and a little bit bigger. So I think that they will stick better to my nail if they're glued on. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to leave it in the center of my nail. Oh wow, that's thick. Uh-oh. Okay, that's a bit thicker than I was thinking. It looks so big. I did not think that it was gonna look that thick. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make it work. We will figure it out. I'm just gonna keep going. I am, however, going to start putting the magnet a bit farther up. I was sort of putting it in the center, which you would think would be the best place, but I think to make it look anywhere near normal, we're going to need it a bit farther up. Might have a slight change of plans because I was originally totally just gonna do the gel manicure. I don't know what part of me was thinking that these wouldn't be this thick. I don't know. I just felt like for some reason it didn't seem that big until I literally put it on my nail. I'm gonna give that a minute to dry before I put my fingers near each other. Okay, so as much as I want to just make these magnets work and do this today, I think it's best if I order some new magnets that are a lot thinner. These are just way too thick. It's just not gonna work. Okay, we don't want like a globe on my nails as like a gel manicure. That's just not what I'm aiming for. I won't have to wait too long. Amazon says that I can order them like now and get them either like tonight or tomorrow or something really soon. So in the meantime, I'm just going to set up and do all of the nail art for the press-ons that I'm going to attach to the magnets today. I thought it would be fun to just do a like springy type set with these. I know I can just attach like any nails to them, but I figured it would be fun to, you know, make a set for this video. I don't want to just like leave you hanging on my terrible nail art for a video. So let's just make the press-on nails and hopefully I will get those other magnets very soon. So I'm just going to do the design on these now. Today I will leave you with a timestamp if you want to skip ahead to the part where I put the magnets on my nails tomorrow. If you don't want to watch me do the nail art for these, I totally get it. So there you are. Or let's just get into it. So I have all of my tips set up. I'm using my eNail Couture Maximum Square nails today, and I already just like shaped them around the cuticle and filed the edges and stuff to get it ready. Today I'm wanting to do a mainly hand-drawn nail art type of set and something a bit cohesive with it. I want to try doing some characters, which is probably what I'm worst at in terms of nail art. So I want to do a little bit of practice today. I'm going to do these Sanrio characters. These ones are slightly less known, but I love them and I want more people to like them, so they come out with more merch for each of them. So basically 2 of the nails are going to have one of these characters, and then the rest are just going to be filler nails with just like cute little designs on them that kind of go together. So I don't really have a solid plan for these, but I know I just want it like cute, pastel, a little sparkly, you know. Let's just get to it. I'm gonna start off with Wish Me Mel. I'm gonna start just on the background. I used a different method to have my press-on stick to the stand today, so I'm hoping it holds up. I usually use like a sticky, malleable clay and it works well, but after too long, it starts to move a little bit and that's usually the worst time, so I use like a tape today. I really like the style of like hand-drawn art when there's a sparkly background. I feel like it gives it a nice bit of dimension and makes the characters pop a lot. So I'm putting this glitter on. I'm using a lot of my Tiny brand gels today. I love them. Okay, this is already not sticking that well. Okay, well, I felt like it was moving too much. And then of course it's gonna stay once I say something. Before I do the nail art, I'm gonna put on a base coat because this glitter is quite chunky and it would absolutely show through the art. I'm gonna get a palette going. Okay, here I go. I do want to do it mostly the size of the nail. Any smaller and I don't think that's gonna work out. I'm starting out by just blocking all the shapes that I'm gonna need and then I'll add the details later. Right now is the head and I feel like this is partially so hard because it's on a curved surface. So you have to kind of take into consideration how it's gonna look straight on and then kind of from the sides too, from like all angles. I'm just going to flash cure things so I'm not sitting here for a minute each time I need to do a little something something. And then we'll do an ear. I am kind of trying to copy the way that it is on this little piece of paper. Not exactly though. I want to leave a little bit of room for me to change it a bit, and those ears looked so off. Let's try that again. I think I need to start this one a bit farther over. Felt like that ear was too big. Now for the body. Oof, this is gonna be hard. Okay. Okay, I have the body all blocked out. I'm gonna start filling in some of the areas. I'm gonna start with that light pink first. I know it's a bunny either way, but it really looks like an Easter bunny right now. I'm really scared to do the face and the outline, but I really can't move forward unless I do that. So here we go. I am going to follow my little reference here where the outline is in purple. Typically the outline is in brown for this character, but I don't think brown will match the rest of my like pastel theme. And I have this gel which almost matches my reference perfectly. The outline on this one is almost like paint strokes or stitching. So I feel like it could be easier or harder to do it, depending how you're looking at it. Making some good progress. I think that this character is looking a little like stretched out, like little like, you know, like, and it would look better a little like scrunched. But that's okay. If that's the main thing wrong with it, that's okay. I'm gonna attempt the arm now. That just doesn't look right. Okay, you know what? That actually looks okay. I need to fix the one little finger. Time for the hardest thing now, which is the face. Now just the other eye. Okay, again, more Easter bunny. Can I pretend we're just doing the Easter bunny? Ooh, that is scary. Looks like a little trailer for that movie Smile. Low-key kind of actually looks a little bit more like Pachaco than the face. Okay, let's put on some of the blush now. For the tail, I think I'm gonna try to use these pretty little sparkly colors. I was going through my stuff and I saw these gels from Secret Nail Affair that I haven't tried, and I believe I got them around Christmas, and they are so pretty. The shimmer on them looks beautiful, and I feel like it'd be a good little addition with the tail. And then I think I'm gonna have to mix for the purple. Let's see. The tiniest bit of blue, bit of pink. That's too much. Come back. Oh, okay, maybe. That blue looks pretty pigmented. Let's see. The shimmer in these is so pretty. Then she does have a couple yellow highlights. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't love it. It definitely does not look like the character. It looks like a human in the character's suit. Do you guys see it? Oops, almost forgot the yellow on the nose. But let's move on and try the other character. I love this little character. I don't see her very often. I'm gonna try the name, and I'm so sorry if it's not correct. I tried to look and I asked someone that I know in Japan, and I think it's in the middle of the night there. So I haven't heard back from them on how to say it. I think it's Kojimune. I don't know how I'm gonna fit this wide character on this skinny nail. I think I might end up with the same problem that we had on the other one. It's probably a reason I don't see this one on nail art very often, huh? Well, no, unless we try. Maybe I will do it much smaller. Or I could do it much wider and just like cut off like that. Nope, nope, that looks worse, doesn't it? Can't even tell. Okay, it's fine. This one is going to have an orange base and the same glitter. Okay, let's get started. So this is going to have to be so much smaller if I want it to look kind of okay. So I'm pretty much just gonna start out doing like a cloud. I feel like this far over here would be the ear. That's an ear, right? Yep. And then here would like be the body, I think. I feel like that's actually too long already. Like I need to, there we go. All right, well, I'm gonna cure this. And honestly, we should just go straight for outlining everything because there's actually not that much to do on it. This has a similar art style to Wish Me Mel. So I'm just doing all those stitch-like strokes. I think this is kind of as good as the outline is gonna get, except I forgot to do the little, I was gonna say accents there, except maybe I'll save that for when we do the color. Okay, not too bad. Let's try the eyes now. I think this eye has got to go. There we go. Those are supposed to be hearts. I'm gonna attempt the little ruffles on the ear. So this honestly went worse than I expected today, but I've had a pretty hard week, so I'm not really surprised that it's not going how I want. This one looks like if you took Cimarol and like scrunched it together into a cloud. It's beyond me why I thought that these ones would be easier. I do not know. I think it would have looked better if I was able to move the eyes and the arms down. I think there's too much space here. It needs to be like that. Even then, I don't know. And wider. This is probably just a poor choice to choose for nails. I'm gonna try to correct this one a little bit, but I don't have a lot of hope for it. And then I'm going to do the rest of the nails in just some random stuff. I want to use the other pastel colors, and then I'm gonna do some stars, some hearts, some clouds, maybe some balloons, just some cute little designs here or there on the nails to try to make it all come together. Then hopefully the wishification of the Sanrio characters will be less obvious. Also, I got a message back from the person I asked a pronunciation for, and it's Kogimune, not G. Kogimune. All right, good news. Everything came in, and you're probably like, what's in the bottle? So when I was looking at the magnets, I had an idea pop into my head, like, what if we made the nail gel magnetic? Kind of like the cat's eye gels that I've been using that you're able to move around with a magnet aren't necessarily like actively magnetic, like they're not going to stick to things or anything like that, because whatever those particles are very small and there's only a little bit of them. But in addition to the actual just pieces of magnet on my nails, I wanted to just see if we could get it to work with like a layer of iron, because iron is magnetic. So we're also going to try that. I told you guys that this is going to be like an experimental video, so there might be a couple detours. Also, I feel like I'm obligated to say, like, be careful with even just like iron particles. You don't want to breathe this in or like scrub them into your skin. But as far as I'm aware, it's totally fine to like encapsulate them in something. So this may not work out, but it'll be really cool if it does. So let's try. So I want to test these iron fillings to see if it will work the way I am thinking. But we're gonna just test it on a tip first. I'm gonna actually put something down to catch it. That's what those look like. I'm gonna use a rubber base for this because that's generally a little bit flexible and very thick. And I feel like we need a pretty thick layer for this. Alrighty, there we go. I'm gonna just take a little scoop of these. Okay, that seems like a pretty good layer. I'm gonna cure this. Now I'm gonna put a top coat over this because if it's not still like magnetic through the top coat, that's not gonna really help me very much. I'm using a separate brush just to be safe so I don't like contaminate any of my bottles with it. Although it stuck to the gel really well and there wasn't any fallout after it was cured or anything like that. It was pretty sealed on there, but this is just like a regular top coat. Here we are, a little bumpy, that's okay. We'll see if it's still magnetic through a couple layers. And how magnetic? I'm gonna cure that. Okay, you guys ready to see? Ooh, it does work. It works. I wouldn't say it's super, super strong though. Like, definitely gonna be moving all over the place. Perhaps it would be better with a second layer. So let me go start a new swatch and I'll do 2 layers instead. And actually, since it does slide, I think I'm just gonna make like a small circle of it. I think that'll be better. So it can really only like stay in this one spot I'm gonna want it. So, one sec. All right, that's 2 coats. Now I'm just gonna, you know, top coat this a little bit, seal it all up in there. It is still pretty thick though, like just as thick as one of the magnets. So if it has to be that thick for it to work, it might still be better off just doing the magnet. We'll see. Okay, let's see. I feel like it's a little bit stronger for sure. Like it's not moving around as easily, but that's a big one. Let's see with one of the tiny little magnets. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't be using a tiny magnet because I would be attaching the tip. This would be my nail. So I'd be using probably 1 or 2, I guess, of these big magnets. Actually, it's pretty solid. It still does move a bit. I don't know what to do. Ooh. I don't have a solid conclusion from this. Because essentially for the gel manicure to not look super crazy, I would need one of these only like tiny little magnets on my actual nail. So I think I need to figure out what is stronger. Is this stronger Or is this tiny magnet stronger? Let's see. Just do the same thing again. Put a little bit of this rubber base here. We'll stick that there. Oh, no. No, no, no. Nope. And this little magnet's gonna have a little bit of a top coat on it, at least. Because ideally, I'd like to have like a layer of color, too. I'll just do a second coat to mimic the second layer, the top coat. So what is stronger? Let's see. I wonder if I just try to like drop one, if that'll show me which one will be stronger. I don't know, I'm gonna just drop it like. It's really not helpful, is it? Okay, so I figured out a better way to test which one would be stronger. This is a piece of glass, and I'm trying to move the magnet with it, and it's not really moving that much with this one, but then this, it is. So I think the actual magnet is definitely going to be stronger. So we'll use the actual magnet. Okay, detour number 2. In perfect timing before we do the gel manicure, my Zillabue order came in. I was catching up on some of Evie's videos and she got so many of the Korean nail gels, it made me want to get some more. And I needed a couple of these colors, like actually needed. So I placed a little order and it came in. So let's do a little haul and swatches and stuff. And then I promise we'll get to like actually putting things on my nails. Let's open this one up. Well, that is certainly not my hair. Anyway, let me undo all this. So here's my little haul. As you can tell, I mainly got a lot of black and white. You know, of course, I'm not going to finish a lot of gels, but I always finish my black and whites. So I wanted to try a new brand since I ran out of my last ones. I really liked the gels I had from this brand, the iridescent type ones. So I decided to get a black and a white because these ones were slightly less expensive than some of the others. I decided to get their darkest brown because I've been really into brown lately and like a little bit more neutral tones. And then I got this, I think this is a jelly black. And then I got these, I think this is D-gel painting gels. I have some black and white potted gels, but they're a bit too thick for my liking for nail art. For really fine details, it's totally fine if you're doing like bigger lines, but for fine details, they're too thick. So I decided to get some painting gels. I don't really have a set of painting gels yet, so it's a good start. And then this specific reflective cat's eye gel caught my eye. I had seen Evie get these and that they blended really well, so I got these little sponges and this cute little picker. I love this thing. So fun. And then finally, I've been seeing this everywhere. It is liquid chrome. So you put it on your nail like that, and then I think you wait for it to dry and then you rub it in, or maybe you just rub it in. I don't know. Can't see because it's not on any color, but you get the idea. So I felt like that was interesting. So I got one of these. Oh, I love this top. Look how fun that is. So that is my tiny little mini haul on that. I think I am going to do just a pretty much black manicure today. Let me just swatch all of these really quick and so we can just sort of see. I'm really glad that I got both black and white for a lot of this because that's super good to test out the cat's eye and powder on. But first, I am most curious how this brown color looks. This is 27. This is definitely a very warm tone brown. The undertone of it is like a cherry color, as you can kind of see there. I'll set that over to cure. Let's see this white. Really hoping these are one coat colors, especially the white. It is a bit hard to find a really opaque white. And ooh, look how nice that looks. It leveled out really well. It is a little bit thicker, but definitely leveled out. Next, the black. Very nice. Absolutely one coat. I can really tell if things are going to be one coat or not because of the way I have my lights. If I can see any light through this, it's going to need a second coat, but it is solid. All right, then let's see if this is a jelly black, or is it just black? Is it a jelly? Oh, I think it is a jelly. The swatches on Zillabue's website aren't the best on like each individual listing, so it was kind of hard to tell if it was going to be like a jelly or if it just was more of like a slightly less opaque color, but it is definitely see-through. Let's open up these painting gels. Ooh, fancy. Look at how fancy that is. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. And then I was gonna wipe these, but this black doesn't have a sticky layer. The white has a slight one, just a little bit. The brown doesn't either. Jelly black, a little bit. Ooh, did that not cure all the way? That might have been my bee. I was just like putting them in there. How cool. I love when things don't have a tacky layer. Okay, these are very nice, very opaque, like one swipe. Definitely wouldn't need a second coat. I mean, I would hope they wouldn't considering they're painting gels. I can't think of something more annoying when you have to like do a second coat on details. So I love, let's see, the white. Wow, I'm really impressed with those. Look how well it covered that black, and it does level out very well. I'm just gonna make some like lines in it. It's still wet, and then it'll smooth out. It's not gonna smooth out like 100%, but it does level out really well for being a painting gel. Like, really impressed. I love that it has this like little close thing. I do feel like it could get messy if you accidentally touch it at all on these side walls, and it like, you know, like that. So definitely have to like keep it clean. I like that it's at least not going to like spill out, say if it were to like tip over. Alrighty, so we have all of that. I'm like, what else do we have to test? This is Space Opera on Flash, and I thought it was interesting. It's a dark gray and pink. I don't quite exactly remember exactly what brand this is, but it'll be linked down below. Oh, that's so pretty. Along with my discount code for Zillabue. All right, then I just have a random magnet around here. Let's see. These move so nicely. Wow, I feel like usually you guys can't really see it on camera with all my lights, but I feel like this one is so intense you can see it on camera even. Wow, I love it. I tried to do like a little French kind of with the magnet, so that's why there's like none at the bottom there. And then lastly now, let's try this chrome. So I don't quite remember if it was supposed to be, wait, I'm so dumb, not me throwing away the package immediately. Paint the top coat and light for 30 seconds, paint it evenly, and then wait for 10 to 20 seconds, and then rub it until you want. You could do okay, perfect. Let me do a top coat on this. Top coat on. Now it says put it on evenly, so that means the whole thing will need to be painted, which isn't hard with this. Then wait 10 to 20 seconds and then rub until dry. I feel like it's taking a little bit of time actually because it still feels wet. Okay, here we are. We're getting to it being dry. I feel like it looks really nice, except I feel like around the edges it does definitely look like a little bit not completely blended. This definitely might just be a little bit of like a trial and error thing. I also did use my finger, but I usually never have that issue when I'm using my finger with a regular powder, but this is my first time doing it with this product, so I'm sure that I'd get a little bit more of the hang of it, but it does look super cool. Put a top coat. I feel like overall I'm very pleased with this haul. At the end, when I show you guys the nails outside, I will also show you these because I know these two will look so good in the sunlight if I can get any sunlight. It's pretty cloudy today and apparently it's gonna rain for like the next week, but you know, daylight. That was a fairly long detour. So let's actually get into the nails now. I am going to pretty much do the same method that I had started with when I realized the magnets were gonna be too big. And I'm going to just glue them on first. And I'm gonna pretty much just do it at the center of my nail. I feel like that'll be where it's most even leveled too. I'm gonna try to separate that before I put the next one on. Okay, there we are. Now, if you do your own nails, I'm sure you know this. If you ever want glue to dry a lot quicker, you can always put some alcohol over and it's gonna make it look really crusty and it's gonna make it like dry white, but it'll speed up the process. For my base, I'm going to use this elastic base. This is a rubber base and it is very thick. And I'm actually going to put it on with a brush because I'm going to try to put it around this for the most part. If you put alcohol on it to make it speed up drying, if the top layer is dry, it won't turn it white, but if it's not dry, then it'll make it white like this and look crusty. And really, it's not even the alcohol that does it, it's the water in the alcohol, unless you have like 100% alcohol. Anyway, these ones only got a little bit of that. I do want these to look smooth on top, and that's why I'm kind of like building it up a little bit. I feel like it definitely wouldn't look as nice with just like a big hunk of magnet in the middle. I don't really do these types of nails very often, aka gel manicures. I might even end up having to put a little bit of builder on this to level it out a little bit. That's okay. Not too bad, still not high enough. Okay, still a slight bump. Probably like one more thin layer. Thankfully, this stuff does level out very nicely. All right, look at that. I'll have a little bit to touch up, but the top of the magnet has not been covered at all. That's just all the gel around it. And I don't feel like it looks too thick on my nail right now. I could think a little differently once we have some color gel on, but we'll see. Let's just do the rest of them really quick. Alrighty, this does stay a little bit sticky even after I wiped the tacky layer off, but I'm just going to go ahead and just do a little bit of filing just to kind of smooth everything out. I'm going to do my best to not file the magnet, although that might be kind of hard. I don't know if that'll change anything, if it does get filed or not, but I just want it to look a little bit nicer like around the cuticle because I want to put a color on top, and if I was leaving it clear, I'd honestly just leave it. But once you put a color over, you can definitely tell some imperfections a little bit more. All right, it's been filed now. So let's start putting on some gel. As you can see, a couple places on the magnet got a little bit of filing on it, but not too much. I'm going to start painting these with just a liner brush to hopefully just get a good shape around my cuticle. That way it's really easy to fill in the brush and it's not going to be too messy. And I'm using this black gel I just got. And then I am going to paint over the magnet, which looks like you're going to be able to see a little bit. Dang, can definitely see a bit. So being able to see the magnet a little bit more thought. I guess you would have always been able to see it unless I were to cover it and have it curve with the rest of the nail, because even if I do it perfectly on all sides, there's still going to be a flat piece just on the center, which of course that's going to show. I don't know why I thought it was going to like perfectly mesh in. Of course, that's always like the hope, you know, that it'll just work exactly how you want it to. I feel like my hands feel weird with just like a gel manicure. It's so not me. I kind of like it, but also I kind of don't. I don't know. I feel like no nails, or, you know, these natural color nails make my hands look really small. But let's move on. So only needed one coat of that. I want to make sure that we're still going to be able to... Okay, yep, still good. Still magnetic, although I do need to put on a top coat now. I'm going to use this top coat. It is pretty thin and I really like it. It's also very shiny. I don't think that this is going to disguise the magnet very much. I think we're kind of past that, but you know, anyone who's looking at the nails probably would just think it's like a choice on them. I don't know what I would think if I saw nails like this with no context. I'd probably think it was like a artistic choice, like just trying to add some like texture to the nail, maybe. Okay, let's double check. Still magnetic. Yep. And still pretty strong, I feel like. Okay. Now we must try to put my janky tips on. I had chosen to do these nails because there was a bit of space here for me to put the magnet. I feel like the apex was not too high, but just like high enough that it'll fit. Hopefully it will. Okay, let's see, will it fit? I feel like that would just make it look like it's like levitating above. So we might not be able to use these ones. These ones were the second biggest ones I have. So how about this? Still levitating a bit. Okay. Uh-oh. We might have to end up doing one of these tiny ones. Yep. Okay, we have to do a tiny one. Uh-oh. I don't feel like those are gonna stick as well. So I feel like to get these in the right spot, I think I'm first going to try to just put a magnet on, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on, and I'm just gonna hold it until it's like good to go, and then in a while I will take it off and hopefully the magnet will come off. So let's see how this goes. Let's start off here. And I'm gonna try to be as still as possible, and I really should have thought this through to hit play on some music or podcast or something, because probably can't move for a minute or so at least. Okay, so I am probably doing this much harder than it needs to be. When I took that off, there was a spot on where this magnet piece should go. I'm able to then just know where it's supposed to go on there. So I'm gonna do that and leave that and just do that to each one. I could probably also put like either some gel or I don't know, something to indicate on a color or something on the magnet where it's supposed to go, but the glue is fine. Okay, so I went ahead and did my other hand while these dried because I wanted to make 1000% sure that they would not come off, because I would hate to like put the magnet on and then pull it up and just the nail comes off without the magnet. Anyway, this is the moment of truth. Are you guys ready? Okay. We're a little wobbly, a little slidey. Let's see. Forgot what order these went in, to be honest. Oh, they definitely look like they're like levitating. Oh no! Oh, they're so slidey. No. Dang. Well, even though these aren't gonna be like practical or even usable, I feel like it was a fun idea to try. I think that the concept could be heavily improved upon. Not everything is gonna always work out. I'm sure that someone could make this work 1,000 times better than I could. But honestly, I mean, I feel like they're kind of fun though. I feel like they do actually kind of like stay on, like they're not just gonna fly off. So perhaps some like stronger magnets or even like better fitting tips, because I feel like they're partially not giving what I'm wanting them to give is because there is too much space. I mean, they do like snap on and off kind of for literal just like magnets. I feel like they stay, you know, like well enough. But anyway, thank you guys for going on this journey with me. Hopefully at a minimum it was entertaining to watch. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye!